Good afternoon all, my name is Zach. My day job involves teaching senior enlisted soldiers about U.S. joint operations, so I connected my day job to this week's research project. I selected 3 articles related to the Goldwater-Nichols Department of Defense Reorganization Act of 1986, more commonly known as the Goldwater-Nichols Act. The act addressed the issue of long-standing inter-service rivalry, the need for military and economic reforms to improve the military's ability to perform joint or inter-service and combined multinational inter-allied operations. It also strengthened civilian military control, streamlined command structure, and globally aligned the defense status structure of the U.S. Many of the problems addressed by the reforms of 1986 actually existed before the 1947 NDA, which reformed the U.S. military during World War II. The reforms of 1986 were the direct result of military failures and inefficiencies post-Vietnam but before Desert Shield. The 3 articles approached their analysis from 3 different perspectives. Kozlowski examined the joint approach of Goldwater-Nichols from an economic and military perspective. Wills explored the act's effects and impact on naval strategy, and the 2 former secretaries of defense, Carter and Perry, examined the act's effects and relation to China's national and military strategy. Unlike last week's dissertations, the 3 articles do not all share a robust collection of sources. In fact, the Carter and Perry article contains only a single reference. Kozlowski and Wills' articles both contain a robust blend of sources, relying on a comprehensive blend of primary and secondary sources from defense, academic, economic, and government documents. Wills also has interviews with people directly responsible for the act and those who were impacted by the act. None of the 3 display a revisionist methodology or an ideological approach to their topics. Will's article on the substance and effect of the Act on Maritime Strategy could display a navalist attitude in his approach. Still, his article remained clear and substantive, treating Goldwater-Nichols objectively and fairly, with both complementary and critical aspects. The SecDef article illustrates a traditional historical view of U.S. military and diplomatic approaches. Since World War II, the authors were both SecDef during Democratic administration, so there is a slight leaning toward ideological approaches of military use to achieve political objectives. And Kozlowski holds a traditional view of military history, and his article exhibits best practices for research. Kozlowski's article on the economic challenges in response to defense spending. The challenge is preserving operational capability while remaining fiscally responsible, while facing congressional and their constituent concerns. A typical DC strategy is to terminate in-force strength and reduce spending by trimming ineffective programs and terminating expensive acquisition programs. Wills highlights the difficulty the Navy has faced with Goldwater-Nichols. Initially, there were benefits of some of the best naval strategists working at the highest levels of the joint force. However, this initial success faced the loss of competent naval strategists in the middle career paths or middle career maps due to top personnel choosing other jobs that promised better career advancement. This in turn led to a disjointed regional naval focus rather than a global maritime strategy. Will's article is well researched and persuasive. Perry and Carter's article depends on their long-standing DoD familiarity to lend the article expert credence. The authors propose a national defense strategy of prudent hedging to avoid a Cold War atmosphere with China, and to present the U.S. as a global leader holding both qualitative superiority and quantitative sufficiency. The article discusses China's long-standing strategy of relying on its large population to engage in attrition warfare as seen in Korea. China is also moving from a ground force-dominated military to embrace a joint approach similar to the Goldwater-Nichols. Kozlowski concludes Congress and DoD must avoid easy choice budgeting of reducing the force and in strength. Instead, they should focus efforts on operational effectiveness, improving the acquisition process, and establishing joint professional military education for the entire force. Wills concludes the Goldwater-Nichols Act fundamentally altered the process by which the U.S. Navy developed both strategy and the people involved in the creative process, negatively affecting the Navy's ability to maintain a cohesive, comprehensive global maritime strategy. And Carter and Perry conclude that there must be balance, better intelligence, and better alliances. Thank you for watching.